Seems like over the last few years, I keep driving vehicles from car makers that didn't exist just a few years ago. This is the latest one. This is a Rivian R1T, a brand new offering from an upstart automaker called Rivian. It's designed in the US, it's built in Illinois, it's also available as an SUV model as well. It's an all-electric pickup truck. And despite the fact that it's been out for a little over a year now, I hadn't had a chance to drive one until just now. And after having spent a few days with this new R1T, let me tell you, I've come away seriously impressed from the first ever offering from this brand new automaker. First of all, look at this thing. This thing looks like the concept trucks that I was doodling in high school algebra class instead of actually paying attention, which is, for being honest, why I'm a journalist now and not an actual engineer. Anyway, the styling of this thing is fantastic. From the LED front end with the very unique light treatment to the fact that it has a frunk with a pretty sizable storage area as well. You can put a couple of good-sized suitcases in there, maybe even a couple of rollerboards, your groceries for on the way home. It's a useful space. Down the side of the vehicle, you have a couple of different options for your Rivian R1T. You can have an on-road version, or you can have the optional off-road version, which is this one. It comes with these Pirelli Scorpion all-terrain tires, which look pretty butch and are really great in the dirt, but do sap, I think, a little bit too much range on-road, and they also affect your handling a little bit. Now, given that this is an electric pickup from the ground up, it enables them to do a lot of really cool things, like have this. This is a lockable gear tunnel that extends the entire width of the truck, but it's lockable and it's washable, so you can actually put dirty, muddy gear in there that you don't necessarily want to keep in the bed, where it's a lot more secure. They even offer a camp kitchen that slides out, that's electrically powered, that you can use when you're going camping. And you can cook dinner right off your pickup. Now, it is a pickup, so it has a powered bed with a lot of really cool features in there as well. There are power outlets on the right side, there's a built-in air compressor on the left side, and you've also got underfloor storage with a drain plug in the floor for keeping tasty beverages or maybe today's latest fresh catch. The extraordinary thing, though, about the R1T is its size. It looks like a full-size pickup in pictures and on TV and probably here on YouTube, but it's not. This is about the size of an F-150 from 20 to 25 years ago, in which to say it is smaller than most full-size current pickups. It's a little bit larger than a Ford Ranger or a Chevy Colorado. It's also significantly wider than those two. It is instead, I think, the perfect size pickup in that you can still seat 5 people comfortably in the cabin, but you can park it anywhere. You could park it in a parking lot, you could park it in your home garage without a problem. It will actually fit. That to me makes it pretty much the perfect size. Unlike some electric automakers that are considered luxury brands because of the price of their vehicle and not necessarily the interior quality, Rivian backs up its luxury price with a luxury cabin. It's really nice in here. Now, you've got vegan leather, as they call it, which is obviously not real leather, but it still feels and looks really nice. You've got real ashwood trim. There's really nice metal trim as well. All the stitching in here is very straight. It feels like a really premium, high-quality interior. Not everything is perfect, however. They have decided to go with a fully touchscreen control system, so there are no buttons or knobs pretty much for just about anything here except the windows and a couple on the steering wheel. Everything else is done through this large 16-inch touchscreen. It's good that it's 16 inches because it does help you find things rather easily, and it's organized very well. You've got the dedicated buttons along the bottom, which things like navigation or music or actual vehicle control systems as well. But the thing is, it's all really bright, it's easy to use, it's easy to find. A nice thing as well is that you have a display in front of the driver, an actual gauge cluster display, something you don't get in most Teslas, and it actually has quite a lot of information on it as well, which is something you don't get in any of the electric Polestars. They're not reconfigurable pretty much at all. Here, you've got a lot of control, you've got a lot of information. You've also got some ergonomic quirks in here, like these cup holders that feel kind of flimsy and almost like an afterthought. And both the lights and the windshield wipers are on this little stalk on the left side with a couple of little toggles, but they're not lit. So you have to know pretty much where everything is. Otherwise, when the sun goes down, you're pretty much operating by touch. We also missed the fact that there isn't things like a volume knob for the audio system. It's okay for the driver because you have the controls on the steering wheel, but if you're a passenger in here, well, you're out of luck. You got to go try and hunt for where the actual volume control is if you want to operate the audio system. In terms of comfort, however, this is really exceptional. The seats are very large, they're very supportive, and you have a lot of width in here. As I said, this is about the size of a 20-year-old F-150, so you've got an older style full-size pickup cabin in here which is plenty comfortable for most people. Plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom, even with this solid glass ceiling that you actually can't open, unfortunately. But there's also plenty of room in the back as well. There's enough room for 3 people, and you have lots of shoulder room, lots of hip room as well. So it's, again, I think perfect size pickup, perfect size cabin. Now, as we said, the Rivian R1T is all electric, and you have a choice of 2 electric powertrains. First is the dual motor all-wheel drive system, and that has 2 motors, one on the front, one on the rear axle, and it makes a combined 600 horsepower and 600 pounds-feet of torque. Now, there's also a performance upgrade version for that, which will bring that up to 700 horsepower and 700 pounds-feet of torque. Nice round numbers, by the way, Rivian. Thank you for that one. But if you really want to get a little bit crazy, you want this version. This is the quad motor all-wheel drive version. It has 4 electric motors, 2 on the front, 2 on the rear. It makes 835 horsepower and 908 pounds-feet of torque. What happened to the round numbers? Come on. But this will zip you from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat, according to Rivian. But even the slowest version of the R1T, that dual motor all-wheel drive, will do it in 4.5 seconds, which is just crazy. Now, how can you tell which version you're looking at? Well, the quad motor all-wheel drive version has yellow brake calipers, whereas the dual motor version has black brake calipers. That's the best way to tell. This version has the middle-sized large battery pack. You can supposedly get an EPA-rated 274 miles of range with this battery, and the all-terrain upgrade trim, as the off-road tires have some range. The best I've seen on the screen estimates about 280 miles of range. Supposedly, if you get the dual motor version with the max battery pack and skip the off-road equipment, you can get up to 400 miles of range in your R1T. Max towing is up to 11,000 pounds when properly kitted out, but you better believe that your range is going to drop when you do that. But the range isn't what you're thinking about when you're behind the wheel of this electric beast. You're thinking about how absolutely astonishingly good it is to drive. You have multiple drive modes, but just keeping it in the normal all-purpose mode is perfectly fine for around town driving. The R1T also has an adjustable air suspension, allowing you to both change the ride height and the firmness of the suspension to suit your conditions. But even just in its standard normal mode, the R1T is a blast. First, the acceleration, which is absolutely explosive. You get the most zoot when you put it in sport mode, which lowers the vehicle and turns on the stiffer suspension, but the explosive power of the thing is just ridiculous fun. But the thing is, it arrives without any fanfare, without any kind of real drama. It's just a mechanical whine. And the actual speed is delivered in such a way that you don't realize you're going quite that fast. It's a lot less scary, quite frankly, than it is in, say, like a GMC Hummer EV pickup, because this thing is about 75% the size of the GMC Hummer EV pickup. So it's not that whole alarming kind of idea of just something that huge going that fast. Instead, you've got something a lot more compact, a lot more easy to drive, also going that fast. But it turns as well as it flies. The steering feel is exceptionally good, let down only by the chunky, low-grip off-road tires in terms of feedback. But it turns in well, it exhibits very little body roll, and it tracks beautifully through corners. The ride and handling combination is outstanding, especially when you realize that this mid-sized truck weighs as much as a Ford Super Duty pickup. And you know what? Batteries are heavy. Then you put the suspension into stiff mode, and the suspension is, well, stiff. But left in soft mode, while it's not exactly Rolls-Royce posh, it's very acceptably compliant over Michigan's cratered moonscape roadways. Overall, this is one of the best driving pickups I've ever sampled. It's quick, it's tossable, it's solid, it's confidence-inspiring. It's kind of amazing that this is the first vehicle that this company has ever made, ever. Good job, you. Now, it is easier to believe that this is the first ever vehicle from an upstart automaker when you start looking at some of the assembly quality details. The body panels don't necessarily line up exactly perfectly like you would find in a legacy automaker's offering, and things like the word mark on the tailgate here has a slight curve to the end of it maybe, when it should be probably a little bit straighter, but quite frankly, these are very, very minor things, given the fact that this is the first vehicle from a brand new automaker and the first one they've ever made. The assembly quality is actually really very good. Nothing squeaks, nothing rattles in this version, nothing that I've found that doesn't work as well. It really does represent an exceptional achievement. Now there is also the matter of price. The base model dual motor all-wheel drive version starts at about $73,000, and you can add $20,000 to that for one like this, which is the quad motor all-wheel drive version with the off-road package and the middle-sized battery pack. And if you opt for, say, the dual motor performance version with the max battery pack, which is a $16,000 option, yikes, that will get you pretty close to $100,000. But that is where a lot of the competitors are. Say like the GMC Hummer EV pickup, this thing costs about the same, but this is a lot easier to drive, much easier to park. It'll actually fit in your garage, and it's not embarrassing to be seen in either. Now, until the Tesla Cybertruck does arrive sometime whenever, unless that Cybertruck has a hover mode, quite frankly, I'm thinking that the R1T is going to be the luxury electric pickup to beat. If you'd like to learn more about the new 2023 Rivian R1T or any of the other electric Rivians that are on sale now, you can learn everything at Cars.com. And if you like what you see here, be sure to click that like and subscribe button and click the notification bell as well, and you'll get updated whenever we have any new postings from Cars.com.